It's buffering up, so come on. And it's buffering. I'm trying to see what the. Hold on, let me start all over again. Give me 1 second, real quick.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. We live. Woo! Finally. All right. Welcome to LiveWire Sports Entertainment, which we are a product of Sports Empire Network. I have a special guest today, another fellow commander, Coach Couch, the commander. How you feeling today, my man?
I'm good, man. Especially after a loss on a Monday, I'm doing pretty good. Best I can be after a loss like this.
All right. Well, this this will be the episode 2 of the aftermath. Every Monday at 7. So we got a lot of topics to jump into, a lot of recap to go into. So I'm ready to hit that intro, and we're gonna dive into it.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? LiveWire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is LiveWire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
All right, man. We back in this again. Like I said, it was one of those things that we kind of expected it. We had hope. I went into the game and said, okay, we could beat Dallas. No Dak Prescott, but but it didn't show. It didn't show. We started off slow. It's like since Jacksonville game, we have not started off fast at all. It's like we wait till the game is out of hand before we can start making plays. But then by that time, other team's defense is changing personnel, so it makes it look like we should have been doing this the whole game, but it's not. It's just because the game is pretty much out of hand. Winston gets sacked number 2 times, but Dallas still apply a lot of pressure, on him. So, Coach, give me your analysis. Tell me what did you see from your perspective of the game yesterday?
This game, it was interesting because obviously it wasn't like the Detroit game and it wasn't like the Philly game, but we found another way to lose football games. This was a game where everything I put it this way. We had $1 million moves, but 10-cent shots. Where essentially where we had opportunities. I think the biggest thing was abandoning the run in the red zone. I think that was kind of one of the things I looked at, like just punch it in the red zone and just do what you got to do there. Mm-hmm. Then the penalties. I think the penalties that killed us, where you look at, you got penalized 11 times for 136 yards, especially for a team like this. If that was kind of the thing that we really didn't think that Dallas, but Washington really was, they were pretty good when it came to penalties. They played pretty much clean football the last 3 weeks prior to this game. So yeah, it was kind of shocking. I figured, because Dallas was kind of in as far as one of the most penalized teams going into this game. So it's almost like it was the inverse of it. Washington took care of business, like as far as if you look at on the stat sheet, like it's obviously, but it's those penalties that killed them. And then, like you said, and then the thing was the intentional grounding in those first 3 possessions. And then it's almost like if you're in third and longs, you're putting a strain on everybody. Not just your offensive line, you're putting a strain on everybody. So it's almost like you're forced to, pretty much just, go out, pretty much be desperation at that point. 3rd and 20 something. I remember one was like 3rd and 23.
Yeah.
But all those 30 longs, it's like you can't win football games that way. So it just gets to a point where you can't shoot yourself in the foot.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. There's when the game was 10-15, and I was like, okay, if they could stop Dallas, don't give up no big plays. But no, lo and behold, man, it's just like when we could get close to a team, we end up giving a big play away. Now, there was one play when Dallas had scored, when the CeeDee Lamb touchdown, when William Jackson really didn't put no coverage on him. It was like he just was wide open on that across the middle. And it's like you see William Jackson looked like he just backed off from the guy and just allowed him to just go free. Like he got paid to throw the game. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, dude, you making almost 40 million? Yeah. And you playing like garbage. There was one play he held. Cam Curl got the interception.
No, yep, man.
Yeah, face mask. You know what I'm saying? Then you ride you getting beat, and then you all over the guy's back. And I was like, come on, man. And I'm sitting here like Ron Rivera looking at the game. We all looking at the game from a distance, and I'm like, you can't pull this guy out. I mean, this guy he's sitting here. It's like he's not even playing. He was out last week. St. Jude took his spot and played very well. And then you got Derek Frost. You could have moved him, switch him and Fuller and let him play the other corner and let Fuller stay out in safety. But Fuller's trash too. Him and William Jackson, I call them the special victims unit from Law and Order. Yep. That's what they are. They victims out there. They not trying to play defense. They just there just to be there. And Ron Rivera, to me, he ought to see this. Hey, we 4 games into the season, and all of a sudden you making the defense line look like trash because y'all can't even hold the back end. We already have issues with the linebacker situation. At least the cornerbacks and the safeties hold it down. There's only like 3 people back there that really plays good defense. Cam Curl, Derek Forrest, and St. Jude. They're the only 3 that really play. And then Percy Butler, I was calling for him to play more, but he got hurt yesterday. Yep. I didn't even know he was in the game. The way the game was going. And then the defensive line play pretty, they put pressure as much, but when you got Cole Holcomb and you got Jamin Davis that can't cover a receiver across the middle, then the pressure of the middle on the quarterback is lost, because the fact of the matter is that Cole Holcomb can't cover nobody. He's slow, so it's frustrating. I listened to a lot of everybody from content creating yesterday, frustrated. I mean, they like, I'm like how they are. I really want them. I want this season to go by where we could get rid of Ron Rivera. I know they ain't gonna fire him middle of the season. They ain't gonna fire his coaching staff, but he sits there and said the same things after every interview. And there's no change. There's no change at all. You knew for a fact that your offensive line had took a hit. They looked really bad last week. You could have went out and made a call to Eric Flowers and say, "Hey, Eric Flowers, we want you to come back." But you ain't do that. You allow most of our talent off our defense, linebacker, and towards the defensive middle go because you want to save money. who knows where all the damn money is going because you're probably skimming off the top because you putting into use for nobody. You bringing all these cheap old people in. They can't keep up no more. They can't do it no more. And then all we do is look bad. Yeah, Carson Wentz, he's not who we thought he was, but at least provide him some kind of protection where he can make something happen. They're not even getting the ball to Terry. And then when you do try to get the ball to Terry, you forcing the ball to Terry. You know what I'm saying? Trey Turner, trash.
Oh.
Andrew Novell, trash. You know what I'm saying? Sam Cosby, he's about to be trash because he can't stay injured. You know what I'm saying? You let Tim Settle, Matt Ioannidis, Brandon Sheriff, but Brandon Sheriff didn't want to be there, just like Trent Williams didn't want to be there. And I love Trent Williams. I wanted him to be a Washington. He remind me of Samuels, Chris Samuels, when we had him back there. And I always compare Trent Williams to him all the time. And I wanted him to be a life Redskin, but Jay Gruden and all of them didn't want to do right. They want to do right. And everybody leaves. And regardless of all these new talent that we get now, when it comes down to their contract, we might not even have them. We might have a whole new, if we let Ron keep doing what he's doing, we're going to have a whole new people. I'm surprised we was able to bring Terry back. I'm glad we bring Terry back because if Terry was not coming back, we might as well tank. Right now, I looked at the draft order. We 7th right now in drafting right now, if the draft was happening right now. So, and then looking at the rest of the schedule, you know what I'm saying? It don't look promising at all. It don't look promising at all. Carson Wentz, 25 for 42, 170 yards. Come on, man.
Daddy.
You gave 38 yards to Curtis Samuel. 43 was Dotson, and that with the touchdown. John Bates. Why is John Bates in the passing game when you got Amari Rodgers and Cole Turner back there? You could have used John Bates as an extra blocker on the line. Bill Belichick masked his offensive line when it's bad. He put either fullbacks, well, you don't got no fullbacks, but you put extra tight end, blocking tight end to stay in tight to help use for protection. There's ways to protect this offensive line and protect Carson Wentz. Granted, Carson Wentz don't do himself no favors, but at the same time, you got to help him out. You know what I'm saying? And then, I like what I saw for the running game. They could have kept the running game going and used short passes to loosen up Dallas for a big play. They didn't do that. Jonathan Williams came in there, had 2 great big runs, and you don't go back to him no more. You use Antonio Gibson. He had just as much yards rushing than Antonio Gibson with less carries. So, I mean, it's to me right now is just like Ron just having so many excuses, but I mean, he sit here and just keep talking, but you got to realize your offensive coordinator is trash. This guy is trash, man. Yeah. So let me see, who was, to me, on defense, who was your standout people on defense yesterday?
Jonathan Allen and Cameron and that Cameron Payne. God, I don't know why I keep Cameron and Deron Payne mixed up. I don't know. I'm getting a basketball player confused with a football player. I don't understand why I do that.
Cameron Payne too little.
Right. I think those they were solid, and I would give them credit because obviously I go back to the day after Christmas last year where they made the best play on defense, and that was on the sideline. So, but in this game, they came out and performed. And Jonathan Allen almost had a touchdown in the end zone. So he brought pressure. They threw the kitchen sink at Cooper Rush as much as they can. Those guys really stood out to me. But like you said, when it comes to, and that's the thing where when we talked about like the coaching, that's like, I guarantee you, if we were sitting here if it was fast forward to October 3rd, 2021, we still would literally talk about, William Jackson III and Kendall Fuller.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that you've discussed is something that we talked about last year.
Yeah.
So that's the frustration comes from, because of the simple fact of we're really regurgitating everything that happened last year and it's bleeding over into this year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the frustrating thing about all this, where it's like you said, and to your point earlier, where and obviously I know they spent some money on Carson Wentz, but then you get rid of, and I also said the biggest issue was the defensive line, and especially how it was last year, where it was a revolving door. It was almost like a carousel. Who, obviously we had injuries with Chase, and then also Montez. What happened with him towards the latter part of the season, and we needed that depth. And then you get rid of a guy like a Matt Ioannidis, you get rid of Tim Settle. So it's like, it's just, but to your point, where it's got to be Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen was very solid in that game, and I will give like Cam Curl and Cam Curl some love too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To your point, depth on the defensive line, because Ron said, "Oh well, we need to get depth. We need to get faster. We need to be nasty. We need to be." I ain't seen none of this. I know the dudes from Alabama could be dirt down and nasty, but yeah, you drafted Fedarian Mathis, but at the same time he got hurt. But but you didn't went out there and got no backup. You got Landon Collins sitting out there at home. You could have brought him in to help that linebacker core out a little bit more. But you allow, like you said, you allow Matt Ioannidis and Tim Settle to leave when they was one of the biggest contributors on that defensive front. Because guess what? With Chase, if we had them there, we could have just kept Chase out for a little bit longer. Now we don't know how Chase is going to feel when he come back. Especially having, especially game time, how he's going to be able to rush the quarterback. Would that be able to help Montez Sweat out? Chase going to have to get his game speed up. It's going to probably take him 2 to 3 games to get really game shape. So the depth or the defensive tackle spot is the main issue that we need to solidify. We got other backups, but guess what?
Yep.
If Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen ain't up front, then them guys gonna run on us. They gonna run on us. And lo and behold, I was looking for Philly with Jalen Hurts to run the ball on us more than what he did.
Yeah, right.
That was my main concern in that game.
Yep.
I didn't expect for the defense to come out and just start running all over us. We got who we got out? We got Tyler Larson and Chase Roulier out. Don't know when they're gonna come back. That right then, that helped. Yeah, if they come back. You know what I'm saying? And then we got, Brian Robinson's supposed to be, he's cleared. He's not activated yet. Yeah. But Ron Rivera said, "Oh well, I hope that he be ready for week 5." Me personally, not now. If y'all gonna run the ball and do some, stretch plays for him, yeah, I can see him. But me personally, I still won't even let him play yet. I want to bring him in. Not against Tennessee. I might say, against Chicago, yeah. So that would be Chicago will be a good game for him to work himself back in. Not against Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? Because lo and behold, going into that Tennessee game, I'm not even picking us to win. I went as far as having us losing the next 2 games, because I look at the stretch of schedule that we have. By the time we get to our bye week, we could literally be literally be like 1-13. I think that's like 12 games. 1-12, something like that.
So bye week is what, week 14?
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll play. So we'll play 14 games. Yeah, because no, it should be 13. Because 5 more left at the bye week.
So we could probably literally. I don't see us winning no more than 4 or 5 games, and that's because I'm giving Chase an opportunity to assert himself on defense. But it don't matter what our defensive line do. It's just the back end that we can't get right. So you can't, if you're gonna keep William Jackson and Fuller as your cornerbacks, there is no way our defense is going. I mean, you literally will have to blitz every down just to create some kind of pressure. You can't blitz teams that has quarterbacks that can get the ball out their hand fast. You got to take advantage of guys that hold the ball long. You know what I'm saying? And then I don't want, me personally, if they do play Brian Robinson, get him less snaps. Just work yourself in. Let him come in on 3rd down or something like that, or give him a 1st down carry. I want to just try to keep running, but Ron Rivera, he doesn't know how to. To me, I just think he don't know how to manage the team. Yeah, you got guys that got good character, but at the same time, sometimes you got to get nasty. You're going to have to get physical. You're going to have to get on. You're going to have to talk to your offensive coordinator. You're going to have to say, look, you're going to have to create some plays. It's like 1 minute we have a good quarter, and then the next 3 quarters, we don't do nothing. Then we be poor for 3 quarters, and then when the game is out of hand, we start trying to come up with all of these different plays. And then on the injury front now, Deshaun Dotson might be out for 2 weeks.
Yep. So
with that, he tweaked his hamstring. He said that he'll be ready to roll this weekend, but I don't think, me personally, I'll let him sit out. If it takes 2 weeks, I'll let him sit out 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You could bring De'Ami Brown in, and you got Cam Sims there, so you can let them guys come in and play, get some playing time. Yeah. But now this is what they're gonna do. Now they're gonna try to force the ball to Terry because the Dotson in out. But you can't do that because you got to use both of them together. Both of them guys is dynamic. You got to use both of their skill set together on the field. I understand that Carson Wentz had this chemistry with Dotson through OTAs and training camp because Terry didn't sign yet. But still, that's your moneymaker. Terry got signed that big contract for a reason. And it's like Scott Turner just do not go his way. It's like they trying to force feed Curtis Samuels all the time. And Curtis Samuels, I mean, certain things that he do, have packages for him. But when it comes down to getting that ball downfield, give it to Terry. My girl, Sports Adelic, she called me last night, and she was talking about the game, and we ran off some names, and the one name that we said that we should have kept was Andre Carter.
Yeah,
we literally let him go for nothing. I remember him last year when Taylor Heineke was playing. Taylor Heineke found him in the middle. The dude has a high vertical. He's very dynamic. And when Curtis Samuel was out most of the year, he stepped up in that spot, and he was our punt and kickoff return guy.
Yep.
Dak's mainline ain't good. He's slow. And then you put him in a receiving game. It's like these guys is like they are literally handpicked by Ron Rivera. Literally handpicked by him. I mean, and it shows because you could tell now. I could tell now that these players in this locker room is getting. Terry ain't saying much, but you best believe he's frustrated. You see Chase Young on the sideline yesterday. He looked at him and Michael Parsons. Apparently, they had some words, but Chase looking over there and said, "Dang, Michael Parsons having this phenomenal year. He's like literally a one-man record crew for Dallas. even though we got a good front, we need a linebacker like that. We
got one, and it's Jack Del Rio's fault. That Jamin Davis can be Michael Parsons if he puts him in situations. I'm telling you, I think that's a Jack Del Rio problem.
Well,
we got one, but we ain't utilize them.
Yeah. And the thing about, because I looked at the Philly game, he got a sack on Hurts, and he got a sack on, I guess, what's the boy, Jared Goff, in Detroit. But the bad thing about it is you can't make him a pass cover linebacker.
He's not built that way. Like right.
He is made to be close to the line, side to side, and blitz. Remember when we had Brian and Rappo, they try to use him the same way? Yep. And Brian Rappo used to get torched all the time. Right. And guess what happened? We end up trading him, but at the same time, we called him a bust because he wasn't utilized right. Exactly. Linebackers like that has to be explosive to the line of scrimmage against the run and against and pass pressure. You have to find linebackers like you. There was one point in the game yesterday that I said, okay, they had Terry in the slot. Terry ran, Michael Parsons backed off. He knew it was a pass, but he took Terry. But at the same time, while Terry was drawing that attention, you could have do a screen pass to Antonio Gibson, and that would have took Michael Parsons out to play, and then would have freed him up. Yeah. Right. So go ahead. No, go ahead.
And this is what we keep. And this is a shame. You and I can devise a better game plan than damn Scott Turner.
Yeah.
Because to a point, you have to adjust. You get sacked 9 times not last week, but against Philly. You didn't get that, but obviously it was a bad product of he didn't have enough time to throw. You got two. You don't have your two prototypical running backs like in yesteryear. You got two guys that can get screen passes and this and the third. And the run game was great. Like I think that run game had 136 yards.
Yeah.
Altogether. No, 100. It was what was it? It was 142, my bad.
Yeah.
So that opens up everything. That opens up an opportunity. You had three guys, that had success, and like I said, we talked about an abandonment. That's the problem. Where to me, I don't think this team has a personnel problem. I think it's just more so of the coaching and putting these guys in the proper position. Like you said, Jamin Davis could be a Michael Parsons, but no, you don't utilize him that. And like it's almost to a point like last year. Remember how like Landon Collins was getting torched? Duh, because he was coming off an Achilles, so he's not as fast as he is. But what they ended up happening, I don't know, some bizarre reason, once they dropped the linebacker, he played his best football. And that's just like, that's where it's like the adjustments. There's no adjustments. It's almost like you're going into these games week in and week out, and you're not adjusting anything. Even Derek Forrest was saying against the Detroit game, it's almost like they knew what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
If he's saying that, and can say that comfortably,
yeah,
it's a problem. It's a problem. It's a problem.
Yeah, it is, because the fact of the matter is that like last year when London Collins was playing safety, he didn't want to go in the box, but they made him go. When they finally made him go in the box, he was so effective. We wasn't really getting, torched across the middle. He was making, him and Jamin Davis was making plays on the ends and everything like that. And then they used Leonard Collins to blitz a lot, blitz the quarterback. And I believe he had a couple of sacks last year when he moved down there. And we went on a 4-game winning streak, and we was having rash of injuries then.
Right. Chase Young got hurt in the Tampa Bay game.
Yeah, and Montez Sweat broke his jaw.
Yep.
We had people out with COVID during that time.
Yeah, even tell them.
Yeah, so therefore, there's ways to do things, but like you said, the coaching is not putting these guys in the right position. They allowing these guys to just roam over. There is literally a picture that was just going around the internet. I don't know if you've seen it, but they show, I think Michael Parsons blitzing. Somebody was, and then it showed the two offensive linemen.
Yes, tackling each other. I'm like, and that's not the first time it happened. The last game, right,
against Philly. So who's coaching these guys to block and y'all running into each other?
Right.
This what makes us literally a dysfunctional franchise. When you see stuff like this and you like, come on now, Ron Rivera, you gotta be seeing the same thing we seen. The offensive line coach got to see the same thing we seen. There's nothing that stupid about trying to get these guys. What's going on, Scrub? Salute to you, bro.
Appreciate it.
That's one of the guys that I was telling you that be on my round table on Wednesdays.
Okay,
He a Giants fan. He a good guy.
And see, and that's I'll be quiet.
No. Go ahead. Then.
But you see, even and that's the thing what frustrates about this team. Since Ron Rivera's been here, and we had that 7-9 team. You see, every team has improved. Philly was like the laughing stock, obviously, but then they showed their lineup and they did their thing. Dallas was kind of doing their thing, obviously, without having Dak. They kind of struggled, but they rebounded. Obviously, won the division last year. And look at the Giants. Giants now have a coach in Brian Daboll, and he's turning around. They're winning games in the fourth quarter. They're actually, they're winning, and they're winning games.
Exactly.
And right.
Yeah, go ahead. Go finish.
Right. And where Washington's at? Still in that 7-9 2020 season. It's almost like the situation is almost like, you're 40 years old, you still talk about high school. How it feels.
Yeah.
How it feels. It's almost like what year can we really hang our head on in this administration? The 7-9, even though I got the head on, so it's almost like I'm being contradicted, but the thing about it, you're finding ways to win.
Yeah.
That's a credit to Brian Daboll and his staff. They're finding ways to win and putting people in position to win. Versus here, it's not happening.
We more out of position than we are in position. And like Scrubs just said, they put Saquon at quarterback yesterday. If the Giants could find solutions or Dallas could find solutions, even look at the Jets. Look at all of these other teams, man. They finding ways to, either keep themselves in the game or have a chance to win the game. Right. Jacksonville lost yesterday, but they had a lot of turnovers, but they were still in the game.
They fought.
We don't have, to be honest, there's probably a few guys on this team that fight, really have the heart, a passion, that really fight. Everybody else, it's just like Ron Rivera. He had the same expression every day. He doesn't. And then when the media asks him a tough question, you get mad. You want to, act like, oh well, it's the media fault for asking the question. Well, guess what? You're not doing the things that you're supposed to do as a coach, because I wouldn't be letting Jack DeVille off the hook if I was the coach. And I told him like this here. I said, look, you either get the defense together or your job is your job. We're going to do an evaluation on your job after the next two games. Same thing with Scott Turner. If they got a quarterback coach there, elevate him up. I keep saying this all the time, and people just, I know people hear me. When Ken Dorsey was his quarterback coach in Carolina, them was the best years for Cam Newton.
Yep.
It was the best years. But guess what? Ron Rivera got rid of Ken Dorsey.
Yep.
Ken Dorsey went back to coach in college. Nobody heard of him at that time. Guess what happened to Cam? He started falling off.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Ron Rivera didn't make, and then you let him stay under Scott Turner. Scott Turner can't develop a quarterback. He could barely call plays. You need somebody that's innovative. You need somebody with a sharp mind. Look at Josh Allen. Even Brian Daboll was there, but look what but Ken Dorsey was that quarterback coach.
Yep. He took him to the next level because remember, he used to be a game manager. Remember how people look at Josh Allen as a game manager, not a gunslinging quarterback MVP candidate like he is now.
I keep saying this, but people, I'm telling you, man, we had a chance to get Josh Allen that year.
Yeah.
We had it, and I called for it. I kept calling. I said, man, we need this guy. We need this guy. This dude got a big arm. He's tough. He's tall. We had Justin Hubert on deck. We couldn't get we bypassed all of these guys for what? Dwayne Haskins, rest in peace, my friend.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And honestly, to his credit, and I think that's where I think Kevin O'Connell should have took the reins as our interim head coach instead of Bill Callahan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking I'm really, and like you said, rest in peace, Dwayne. But I think he was emerging. I think if that Kevin O'Connell and Dwayne Haskins relationship would have kind of gave it some time, I think Kevin O'Connell was cooking some stuff up for him.
Yeah,
but it was just a matter of time. Yeah,
but you see where he at right now.
Yeah, Minnesota. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And think about all this young talent we had in this building, and it frustrates me because, like you said, like tonight we got the Rams and the 49ers. We had our former offensive coordinator, our former quarterback coach, our former tight end coach. And Sean McVay, we've had all these guys. You think Mike McDaniel was here? Yeah. Kevin O'Connell, he was here. Arthur Smith was here.
Yep.
So we've had LaFleur was here as well. Like
we had them all.
We've had them all. Like we literally had all these guys, and it's a shame.
And what we settled with Jay Gruden. And then Ron Rivera. Yeah. I was like,
and we let them all out the door. We let them
all out the door. Right. Sean McVay probably would have took us to the Super Bowl.
and that's my thing. And I knew he was gonna be sought after. He turned a 4th round quarterback and Kirk Cousins to a perennial 4,000 yard passing, a passer.
Yeah.
And a guy that got the first ever guaranteed contract in NFL history. Where do you think they came from?
Sean McVay and all of them. Yeah. Right. And Kirk Cousins, Kirk Cousins had got that. He got his money, and then he left because they didn't value him. They should have valued him. Even though I had my little gripes about Kirk Cousins, but Kirk Cousins, when he's on, he's on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the thing about it. The only thing about Kirk that knocks on him is his turnovers. His turnovers it kills him. What's up, David Valentine? He talking about our coaching staff is hot trash.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, you ain't getting no argument here, my friend. And but we had everybody, man. Yeah. I mean, but that goes to the GMs that we had. We had Bruce Allen there. Bruce Allen didn't want to pay nobody. That's why we lost Trent Williams. That's why we lost Kirk Cousins. That's why we lost half our coaching staff. Bruce Allen really, and Daniel Stein had to take some of the blame because you allowed Bruce Allen to run the franchise.
Yep.
And Bruce Allen ran half of our talent away. You know what I'm saying? Because you kept paying trash, over the hill players. And then when you finally got rid of them, and then you brought another coach that had that same mindset, you sprinkle a little bit of talent, young talent here and there, but you still keep it old. You got to go completely young, and you got to let them go. you're gonna have to go if you're gonna go through the hardship of a 3-year plan or 5-year plan. Then you're gonna have to go draft all young, bring them up, tackle free agency, bring skilled people in, and then find your quarterback. Even if you had to go with a backup from right now, because guess what? The route we going,
exactly.
I would be if the season ended today and we at 7th, we pick 7th, man. You know, Rondo will probably just draft another quarterback, and we got Sam Howell sitting right there.
Right.
That's how dumb they are. They won't think about what we need. The first pick I will be trying to get is an offensive lineman. I mean, somebody that, yeah. Right. Me personally, I will draft offensive lineman 3 straight rounds. Even if I had to trade up or trade back for multiple picks, that will be my sole focus right there. And then the rest of the draft will be linebackers and cornerback.
Hey, you know what's so crazy about all this stuff, and the thing that's frustrating about the NFL is people think that people, you know, like you and I will talk about this type of stuff like it's easy, like as if like we know. The NFL gives you clues of how to be successful in this league. Mm-hmm. San Francisco, and keep on bringing up the San Francisco point. What did they do? What every team should do? If you're in the midst of you know, turning over this team, you need to hire a GM first and let the GM hire the coach that they want. The GM, and so they work in lock and step. So when it comes to personnel moves, they know they are in concert with each other. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. You know, you get guys, and this, like I said, this is no knock to, you know, to Dwayne or whatever, but like there was a disagreement about drafting Dwayne. Yeah. Because obviously Snyder wanted, because obviously he has ties to DeMatha. So he went and got him there. RG3. Oh, well, I loved watching him on Saturday nights. That, you know, and you know, Shanahan really didn't want him. He wanted Ryan Tannehill. He was trying to go for Ryan Tannehill at that time. So
good thing we didn't.
Correct. Well, no, you know what? In a sense, I don't know. I think he would have been okay if he was in a good offense. And I think that's another thing too, where, you know, he started getting a lot better once, you know, once he in Miami. I give him incomplete Miami. I mean, it was a mess. You know, you had Joe Philbin there. You had all kind of chaos that went on in Miami at the time. But it's just one of those where it's just like you have to. The thing is, it's got to be cohesion. I think Danny Snyder just got to get out the way and let the GM run this show, and let the GM take over and get the coach that he wants. So those two can be locked and step when it comes to personnel.
Yeah, I agree with you, because he want to be like Jerry Jones, and right. You can't be like Jerry Jones. You see what Jerry Jones doing to Dallas right now. He's too much in the way instead of let his from like. Yep. You got Jason Wright as our team president, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You got Martin Mayhew supposed to be the general manager, but he ain't making no moves. Ron Rivera making all the moves.
Right, because remember he got hired. Because remember Ron Rivera was a GM from the start, and that's when I knew it was gonna be could be bad, because you can't just hire a coach. And we've always done this. Because remember. The late John was this John Fossil? Remember the old coach for the Giants, the one before
John Fossil.
Yeah, John Fossil. Yeah, you know, RIP as well. Remember, he was supposed to get a job, and then Jim Zorn was supposed to be like the special teams coach or third. And then I think something that happened with Fossil, and then that's how Jim Zorn became the head coach here. And it's just like, you can't run successful organizations like this. No. And this is like, and it's not one of those, it's like, and that's one of the things, like, especially when it comes to that, there's research. And it's not even research. It's in your face. It's not even like, so you don't go these, you know, Jim Fast. Yeah. So, and it's to a point where it's just like, I don't understand. Like, you be around these owners, you know how their secret sauce. Exactly. So it's not like, oh, I got to go and do my homework. they give you the plan. It's a blueprint. It's right there and there. But everybody, and that's how the NFL is. Everybody deviates from the plan, and we all know the plan works. You just have to execute it. And
look at Sean McVay's plan. What he's doing with them. He switched his quarterbacks. He went to the Super Bowl with one, but he said, "Oh, that's not enough for me," because he already maxed out Jared Goff as much as he could. He needs somebody that could put the ball a little bit further, with a better arm talent. Matthew Stafford, been buried in Detroit for so long, come over there, got maximize his talent. Then you think about the 49ers. The 49ers bread and butter is their defense, because even when what's the black coach that used to be with them before?
It was San Francisco.
Yeah, shoot, I can't.
Who's the head coach?
Oh my God! Oh, he was the Chicago Bears linebacker back in the day.
Oh, Mike Singletary. Mike Singletary.
Mike Singletary.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, back way back. Yeah,
Mike Singletary. But they didn't like Mike Singletary because he was too rough on them. But guess what?
Yep.
He had them boys in the right direction. And then I think that's when Shanahan took over after that.
Yeah, well, Harbaugh. Remember
Harbaugh? Yeah, Jim Harbaugh. Harbaugh came.
Harbaugh.
And then he wanted to go back to college. So and then Shanahan.
Yeah. And then I remember they had two little rough because they had Chip Kelly for 1 year. Remember they had Chip Kelly and like Jim Thompson or something like that. They had and that's another thing too, where they like these teams, they show you how to be successful. Like, and it's not like something that's like hidden. Like you have to have and like you said, even with the Rams situation, as Snead and McVay, they work hand in hand because you just look at what they did. Like they, and you see how they literally don't have no draft picks, but look what they've done with those draft picks. Like, and that's something that the two probably agreed upon. I mean, I know it probably wasn't as easy as smooth, but they were on the same page versus, not having that situation. But yeah, it's almost to a point where, that's the pressure on the GM. You got to hire the right coach because that coach is going to be, that's going to be, it's going to pretty much who do you trust as far as your job security, as far as from a head coaching perspective. Yeah. So, and that's what's the next thing. Yeah.
You can look at Andy Reid over there, with his what everybody is over there. Yeah. Like you say, Mike McDaniels, he's doing a good job. Brian Dable over there. I'm telling you, Ken Dorsey's name is going to come up by the end of this year or next year as a head coach. Yeah. Everybody that I follow do creation on there, we all have said this. We need a young, innovative coach. No knock on Ron Rivera. I think his time has passed. I think this coaching staff is trash. I think they don't know. I think Scott Turner is in the same situation with Jay Gruden because Jay Gruden was over there in Cincinnati with doggone
Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton. They could not get to the playoffs. They get there and then they kick out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is that he finally get a head coaching job and he still didn't do anything good. And then now, I guess he's doing something for somebody. So
it was the Rams now. I think he's like an offensive consultant with the Rams, I think.
Yeah. So these are the things. And you look around the league, you see everybody's trying to improve. The Jets are even trying to improve. Yeah. Look what Pittsburgh did. Pittsburgh is still Pittsburgh, and they benched their quarterback. Me personally, the way I feel right now, everybody said, well, what difference is it going to make to put Heineke or Sam Howell in if our offensive line? But
huge difference.
Mike Zimmer as a defensive coordinator. Yeah. Yep. Mike Zimmer down there with Deion Sanders.
Yeah. And boy, he hated our boy Kirk Cousins. Boy, he hated some Kirk Cousins.
Kirk got him ran out of Minnesota. And look what he is. He down there with Deion and all. Down there with Deion. And guess what? Deion is on another level. We'll talk about Deion another time. Right. But the thing about it is that Scott Turner is the same class as Jay Gruden because they not great offensive coordinators. You know, Jay Gruden was right there with Marvin Lewis. Marvin Lewis was the coach for Cincinnati for about almost 2 decades, and they probably only went went to the playoff 2 times under his tenure. And then we hired Jay Gruden because he was an offensive coach. He ain't did nothing. You know, Andy. If you look at Andy Dalton, he's a good serviceable backup quarterback, but he didn't really do anything. If you look at his career, it was okay, but it wasn't like something eye popping, you know. But we have lost so many, and the 4 names that I'm about to mention right now, these are the names you're gonna hear at the end of the season: Ken Dorsey, Eric Bieniemy, what's the somebody also has said Ben Johnson from the Lions. What's the guy name right there in Tampa? Shoot.
Byron Leftwich.
Brian Leftwich. Watch what I tell you. You're gonna hear these 4 names, and guess what? We ain't gonna jump on neither one of them because we're gonna stick with Ron Rivera. The only way if Ron Rivera stays, he gonna have to get rid of Jack Del Rio, and he gonna have to get rid of Scott Turner, and he gonna have to pull some. Me personally, Rick Lashley, he's coaching SMU right now, but he was the offensive coordinator for the Miami Hurricanes for Tyler Van Dyke. If the offense that we have, I would call down there and say, "Hey, Rick, Lashley, you want to come coach, be offensive coordinator in the pros, and coach up some men how to a real offense? Sometimes you got to go outside the box. You can't just stay inside the box because guess what? They ain't that much offensive coordinators in the NFL right now. Somebody got me on Facebook, got a message on there. I can't see it, but anyway, you got to go outside the box to get some of these younger coordinators that's in college development. Look at Lincoln Riley brother over there at TCU.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is the stuff that I watch all the time in college football. Valentine say, "Yeah, what y'all think about Darrell Bevels and Brian Schottenheimer as head coach prospects?"
Schottenheimer, you know what? Because obviously I didn't think Scott Turner, because obviously Scott Turner is Noah Turner's son, and then Brian Schottenheimer's late Marty.
Yeah,
that was here as well. They had a cup of coffee, which that's another night where he should have stayed. He shouldn't have had a cup of coffee in Washington. He should have stayed for the long haul. But that's Daniel Snyder's fault. I'm gonna leave that alone tonight.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna leave that alone tonight because I'll be here at midnight to talk about how Marty Schottenheimer should have been his coach.
Yeah,
you should ball coach.
Yeah, should have been there. I mean, and I thought, you know, when Ron Rivera had that sit down talk over the season with Joe Gibbs, I thought it was going to like help him, you know, where you like, okay, Joe Gibbs did it with 3 different quarterbacks. He did it with, you know, he took them, but at the same time, he put dynamic weapons around these guys. Yep. You can't, but somebody that had a knee injury, you know, saying like Carson Wentz, he's shell shocked. He's not comfortable no more. His comfortability is gone because part of his athletic ability was running the ball out of pocket, being reckless, and you can't be reckless. He overthrows. He had so many overthrown passes yesterday. Then he had some in the dirt, you know what I'm saying? But then you said the same thing after every game. I got to get better. Okay, you 4 games in the season. If you've been in this league for 5 or 6 years, you should know what getting better is. You know what I'm saying? You should not be sitting here, "Oh, I got to get better. Oh, I got to get better." Because guess what? If you continue to do the same thing, then as I see it, we ain't got no use for you. We ain't got no use for you no more. And that's why I say at this point right now, benching. Mike Tomlin
Basically.
benched Mitchell Trubisky
Trubisky.
without a blink in his eye.
Yeah.
You can either let Heineke, even though Heineke doesn't have a strong arm to push it down the field. Well, what harm does it is going to hurt to let Heineke get a few games and see where we at? And then if we still ain't where, then say, hey, you know what? Sam Howell, the rest is yours for the rest of the season. Build your resume up. Let's see what you get. We can build around you. But this coaching staff don't think like that because they don't want to put them out there because I'll tell you this. If Sam Howell or Heineke touches the field with the weapons we got, you best believe Carson Wentz days it'll be numbered as soon as he hit the bench.
Yeah.
And we had won games with Taylor Heineke. You know what I'm saying? We had lost games with him, but we had won games with Taylor Heineke. I guarantee you, Sam Howell wouldn't have sit in that pocket like that. He would have ran out of that pocket. He would have made Dallas. He would have made Dallas and Philly honest. Taylor Heineke would have made them honest by using their athletic ability. You know what I'm saying? Even though Taylor Heineke is just a tad bit short, but at the same time, Ron Rivera got to understand. Okay, we 4 games in the season. All right, we about to get in our 5th game. Okay, we're gonna stick with Carson Wentz. Okay, if Carson Wentz looks bad against Tennessee and we lose that game, you gotta cut your losses with him, man. You can't sit here and wait till you get 8 games into the season.
Yeah, and the thing with the Carson Wentz situation is like they just need to find ways to put him in a position where he's comfortable. Like I think that run game, you need to do that run game, and you need to have screens, and that's going to definitely help loosen the penetration on that line.
Yeah,
where he'll have time because he does that. Think about it, if he do some some run plays, the runs are successful. We get maybe about 5-6 yards, a carry or whatever on those plays. We kind of do some screens, just move the ball down the field, and then what that's going to open up is that's going to open up lanes where Carson Wentz can. I wouldn't say I don't think he gonna be able to doing seven-step drops anymore, but he can have a little bit more time to throw it because, and that's the thing where they have to open it that way because it's you got to keep that defense kind of like second guessing because they know, and then like you're saying, and then this whole hesitation, the hezzy and the pump fake. You can't do that, like especially like in those moments where it's like you're pump faking. It's like they know where you're going. They try. So it's almost like and that's really where. And I think even if you were to bench like him, it's you putting Taylor Heineke and them and Wolves as well, where it's just like one of those where it's just. And my thing is with it, it's just like. If he gets benched, it's like that's his career. I wouldn't say I hate to say it like this, but
his career
as a starter, his career as a starter is over. Like he's gonna he'll be having a tablet for the rest of his career. He'll be sitting on the sideline with a tablet. Him
and Baker Mayfield, but they're running neck and neck right now.
Yeah, and that's sad because obviously he was the number 1 overall pick, and then Carson was the number 2 overall pick. And we're not talking about guys who. Was like these are recent. Like Baker's 2018, Carson Wentz is 2015 or 16. Yeah. So it's like these guys should be in their prime, especially like a Carson Wentz. I think Carson Wentz is only 30. He's not even 30. I think he is 30 now.
Yeah.
But that's where you're like, that's where I'm just like it's strange, like how everything is coming and how this is happening to both of them.
Yeah,
and it's just and like Carson Wentz, and it's starting. It's really reminding me of like Donovan McNabb ish on us, where we're so used to kind of seeing because Carson Wentz, in his heyday, as far as because he used to wreck shop in the NFC East. He was one, and that's where it's like those, and I remember all those plays, like a lot of those, like he used to burn us like on 3rd and longs, and like he used to like evade tackles and get out of pressure, like
because they used to compare him to Ben Roethlisberger. And I was looking, I said, dang, he does remind me of Ben. And then when he got injured, that just took everything. It's the same. It was I call it the RG3 effect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Once you got hurt. Now yesterday they had a next gen stats. They had a weekly wrap up on Carson Wentz, and it said his 2.58 second to throw Sunday was tied for his ninth fastest since 2008. And he only had 11 games total in that span under 2.6 seconds. Now, okay, if that's the case for that, then what you should have done, you need to, like, to me, I think I don't see him and Scott Turner working so close together. It don't look like it, because like it was a point yesterday when he came off the field. Ron Rivera had his arms crossed. He didn't say nothing to him. He ain't pulled him to the side, talked to him. Carson Wentz just went straight back, and then you saw Ron Rivera then kind of like walk behind him. I'm like, y'all talk.
Communicate, talk.
You know what I'm saying?
And my thing is this: why, Scott Turner? Why in the hell you on the field now? Because last year obviously was in the booth, and I figured the move for him to move on the field was in essence to become more communicative to Carson Wentz and to the quarterbacks. That's why it gets me confused. Almost like you might as well just go back upstairs.
Yeah, because he doesn't do anything. He don't sit there. Like, I watched Brian Leftwich and Tom Brady every time even when Josh McDaniels was the offensive coordinator for Tom Brady, they sit on the sideline together, look at that tablet, work out certain things. You literally could see the difference when they go back out the next series. It's a whole difference. Even Patrick Mahomes, even though Eric Bieniemy be getting into him, but guess what? That makes Patrick Mahomes a better quarterback. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because that's going to show you a coach care about what you're doing on the field. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just saying, "Oh, well, I want to have my way." Yeah, you had some success, but guess what? Your success came from him. Yeah, you make marvelous plays, like a Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers. Yep. Even though Aaron Rodgers is a diva, but Matt LaFleur, he's gonna call the play that he feels is going to be that. Now, he made some bumble plays, calls here and there, but he got Aaron Rodgers to trust him. That's the point. Yep. Scott Turner gotta talk to Carson Wentz. He gotta say, "Hey, what do you like? What did you do in Philly that made you so successful? Take some of that and apply it to him." Every quarterback that leads a system, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning first. He left Indy, went to Denver, took his playing style to Denver, went to the playoffs and went to the Super Bowl. Tom Brady, 20 plus years in New England, took his system in the middle of the season, told him and Bruce Arians, "No, that risk it no biscuit ain't working." Changed that whole offense dynamic. They went to the Super Bowl. Now you're gonna see the same thing with Russell Wilson. It's just going to take a matter of time for him to get it together over there. They had lost their running back for the season now, I think, over there. But it's just going to take time. Same thing with like they had, they was talking about Jimmy G was supposed to come to us because but his shoulder injury, whatever. But guess what? If Jimmy G came, everything that he knew was Mike Shanahan knew, he could apply it over there. So you got to talk to your quarterback and say, "Hey, what works for you? What do this for you?" David Valentine say Richardson, the quarterback for the Gators for Florida, and KJ Johnson, the quarterback of Arkansas, are athletic and have cannons for arms. Check out quarterback Grayson McCall, who is fantastic and slides under the radar. I'll definitely keep my eyes on him. And also too, that backup quarterback for Alabama, he's nice.
Oh yeah,
he is nice, man. He came in and bought good grief. I was like, man, Alabama. I don't know what Alabama behind these people at.
Yeah, and they about to become a quarterback factory. You got 3 guys that's doing well in the NFL now, and then
Yeah,
Bryce Young will be here next year. He'll be a franchise quarterback somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah,
If we keep going the way we is, we might end up drafting him.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, to a point, yeah, yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, if we draft, if we number 1, I mean, if yeah, if we number 1 or number 2, I mean, we'll, no pun intended, but I know if we don't get the quarterback, if we don't have no attention, we will command a lot of assets to get up there. Somebody to trade, we're willing to trade up to get up there.
yeah,
But
and sometimes, man, I sit here and watch these games, and I'll be like, man, Washington should be winning these games by a lot. Look at the offense, but I be thinking these jokers be tanking on purpose for some. I be just thinking that, and I don't want to think like that because
right.
I see it in the NBA a lot. I see they tank a lot on purpose. They'll be teams be having these big leads, and all of a sudden they just lose it. And it's like it's impossible just to lose a lead like that because you all of a sudden you start shooting bricks and you was knocking everything down. Come on, and you ain't getting that cold that fast.
Right. And the thing about that too is like, this is people think, oh well, but this is a talented roster. It's probably one of the best rosters we've had in quite some time. Like we got some talent on this team.
Yeah.
That's the thing I think this was frustrating the most. Like, and I think what was it? Was it Sub-Zero when we talked about the Giants? That's the team where you think about Scrub Zero and you think to yourself like they're not as talented as us, but like they're 3-1 and they're getting it done. And I don't care if people say, well, they beat Chicago, they beat who else did they beat? They beat Seattle. No, they beat Seattle.
Yeah.
And so
they almost beat the Giants. I mean, they almost beat Dallas.
The Cowboys, yeah. So they really was almost undefeated. Where just like they had more of a fight than we did.
Yeah.
So to their credit. So just like this team got talent. That's why I think that's what's the most frustrating thing about it. More so, this ain't like 2019. It's like we knew 2019 was going to be an abysmal failure. Like we even though. We knew like, okay, well, this isn't gonna be our best team. Obviously, coming off the Alex Smith injury, knowing he won't gonna play, all this type of stuff. So this year is different. This year, especially coming off of, we were 7-10 last year with a hard schedule and playing with a backup quarterback. And,
exactly.
So now, we've paid, Carson Wentz almost $30 million, and
it's like we really stuck with him.
Right. I mean, for now, but yeah, we stuck for him. And there's ways to kind of get out of that, to finagle ourselves out of that mess.
Yeah.
But and that's one thing too where it's gonna potentially bite us in the butt, like as far as because obviously we got draft capital. We had to sequester a few picks away from that. So
I mean.
Yeah,
The way I look at it is that if we did end up with a high draft pick and say that teams calling they need a quarterback and we got Sam Howell there, yeah, we could negotiate and say, hey, even if we number 3 or 4, teams gonna want to move up to them spots. So we could easily trade away to get like a bunch of draft picks to fall down later. Get like a couple offensive line, fill up that defense a little bit better, or whatever the case might be. It is a way to do it. Maybe that Ron say, well, hey, because the statement that I read earlier today, it was like he was talking about people was on him, and he said, well, it was like that when he went to Carolina. He said when I went to Carolina, it was 2-14 at the time. He said, but it took time till we got with it there. But yeah. It took time. You did got there, but you still messed it up because you could have built off your Super Bowl run. You know what I'm saying? Going to the Super Bowl and kept some of your personnel there to continue to growth of Cam Newton. Cam Newton would have been your franchise quarterback. Y'all all they had to do is just continue to put weapons around him. You got rid of everybody, and then you eventually got fired. You know what I'm saying? Then you come to Washington. Yeah, we struggling, but you came with this plan, you know, you want to build character and all of this stuff, and you brought all your people in, you know, Dan Snyder let you bring your people in. Yeah, it looked good the first year. Everybody said, okay, we believe in Ron's plan. Boom, 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 boom. Second year, you know what? We were 79. We won a division because of the bubble. All right, this the third year. You know what I'm saying? You draft all of this talent, supposed to have all this depth. This probably Carson Wentz most talented offense that he had since he been in Philly, and we still regressing for some reason. We regressing really bad. So my thing is this here is that either they're gonna try to win games, or they not going to, or they trying to position themselves back for the draft. And I will know. Let me see. We 4 games in the season. By the 8th game of the season, guess what? When I come back on Monday evening and do another show, and you come in, I will tell you we tanking because that's what I would know for fact. And because if we definitely don't win Tennessee and Chicago, we got. Let me see, because I did this last night, and
remember we got a short week coming up. So obviously we got Sunday, and then we come back on Thursday
night. Yeah, play Chicago.
So and then we got Aaron Rodgers coming to the crib.
We got Aaron Rodgers. Then we got to play Matty Ice. Then we got to go face Kirk Cousins. You know what I'm saying? Then we got you got the Eagles. Then we got the Texans. Then we got the Falcons. And them games ain't no give me.
Right, and those two teams are playing hard. Like Houston. Houston, you know, to their credit, they've been in every game. They've been in every game this year. And in Atlanta, you know, they're another team where I think they're 2-2. They beat Cleveland last week. I mean, well, not last week, but yesterday. They almost beat the Rams. So it's like, you know.
Sad to say, we might be in a race with the Texans. Texas in the final, Texas somebody. I think that's on the draft thing yesterday, the day of this, somebody up there, but it's crazy. You know, like I say, we want the team to do well because of what the talent's on there. Yeah, injuries happen, but guess what? Ron, go get some real depth, get some young depth. You know what I'm saying? Not somebody that's cheap. Get some young depth. There's somebody that's eager that want to make a contribution to the team and want to make a name for themselves in the NFL. You bring in all these old people that they got all kind of nicks and bumps of injuries, and they probably gonna play about 2 or 3 games before they get hurt, and then they sideline, and then we right back in there. Yeah, if you want Carson Wentz to be successful, then help him out a little bit more. If you not trying to help him out, and you just got him there to say, well, we went out for a quarterback, but you know it didn't work out for us because you took up a contract for him that you shouldn't have. You could have just rolled with Tanner Heineke and put him in the position and let Sam Howell be right behind him, and then we could have got a Marcus Mariota or Mitchell Trubisky or somebody to be a third string quarterback just in case. And then we could have rolled the season just like that. At least we wouldn't have had our expectations so high. You know what I'm saying? At least we could say, okay, yeah, we be just by 8 and 9 or whatever the case might be. At least we have something to look for. At least because we know Taylor Heineke gonna get us some games. We know Sam Howell is a gamer. You know what I'm saying? We didn't worry. But you brought Carson Wentz in, so we talk about, okay, we giving him a shot, and we thinking 10, 11 games. Look at here. That's not even about to happen. So, I usually do I have been slipping for the last 2 weeks. I usually do a pregame preview to Washington's game, and then the weekend come out, I do a post game. So, right. But I don't know, Coach, man. I just feel like this team, they could be in a better direction that they are in, and I think they shooting themselves in the foot. I mean, just like I cover my Miami Hurricanes. They had a bad game against Middle Tennessee State, but guess what? Mario Cristobal came out here and says things got to change. He said we're gonna stick with our quarterback. We can't turn on because he had a bad game. But at the same time, that's just say we're gonna stick with you. But if you have another bad game, we're gonna replace you. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I read between the lines on that, and everything. But this was Ron. He gotta say he gotta sit and talk to Carson. Like I said, we were just saying that you gotta talk to the guy, ask him what he like, help him out, and then provide that for him. If you just sitting there coaching and it's gonna be your way, we got the guys that make plays. No, we don't, because we don't have enough depth. You ain't going out there. You ain't taking nobody from the practice squad. You ain't snatching nobody from the other team's practice squad to bring up there to put that depth there on that team. If you know Wild Goose ain't playing good, get rid of him. You know what I'm saying? Get rid of him. If you know Fuller and the other special victims unit, William Jackson ain't playing. William Jackson ain't playing. I guarantee there's some guys on the practice squad. All them unrestricted free agents that y'all brought in over the summer after the draft, you mean none of them couldn't make the team? All of them that I covered, they could not make the team? Come on, man. Ron Rivera he out there playing games, man.
For sure.
He playing games. And he gonna keep on. The cry for him to be fired is gonna be so loud.
For sure.
And when we already don't have enough people in the stands now. If they don't show up and they hit Daniel Snyder's pocket, guess what's gonna happen? You know Daniel Snyder ain't gonna let nobody touch that money.
He need to go. That's at the end of the day, he need to be the one that's going. He causes all this. He's a root. You want to know why a plant don't grow? He the reason. He the foundation. He's the dirt. He's the bad soil. He's the bad soil.
Man, he like clay. You know what I'm saying? You can't grow nothing in clay.
Right. Why rose don't grow in a concrete jungle.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I was supposed to do some research because I heard something about I know a couple of weeks ago that they said that some of the owners is growing the anguish of Daniel Snyder, and then I heard something yesterday that there's a potential possibility of there's two teams that could be up for sale, Washington and Seattle. You know what I'm saying? And I know for a fact, because I covered this last year, that Jeff Bezos is desperately interested. He was interested in Seattle, and he's sure interested in Washington. And if he get his hands on either franchise, because there was a report I reported, is a video I did. I'm gonna have to go back and look for it, and I have to share it with you. But now I don't think it would happen. But there was talk about Washington, the Washington franchise relocating all the way across to the Midwest to Tacoma, Washington, because they was trying to tie the name because there's some kind of war stuff that goes on in Tacoma, which I lived in Seattle. I know Tacoma pretty well, and because Daniel Snyder wants a new stadium because of the fact of the casinos. But see, Jeff Bezos has so much money that he has Amazon in Seattle, and he has the Washington Post here. The Washington Post in here in DC. Now, if he was to own the team could stay, the team could relocate. You know what I'm saying? But we don't know. But the fact of the matter is that I think now people starting to see that this franchise, and then you know what happened with the Phoenix owner. It's kind of like putting a lot of antennas in people's ear and say, you know what, hey, this franchise is suffering real bad. It's already got bad coaching. The owner is not making no progress of making the franchise even better. Yeah, he may change some stuff for cultural purposes, for that woke situation, or to make it look good for TV and whatever the case might be. But there are underlying problems that still exist. Until you remove the head of the snake, the body is going to still be existent.
Yep.
So, with that being said, hold on, let me read one more comment.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones and Robert Kraft and Kokanee are backing up Snyder. Some of the owners are on Snyder's side. Yeah. Well, I already know that Jerry Jones. This is the first time I heard of Robert Kraft, and now the other guy. Well, that's three people, and Jerry Jones, his
powerful
verses,
people.
Yeah,
powerful.
Yeah. Because if Robert Kraft did something and he got away with it, you know what I'm saying? He's the new porn star. And then you already know Jerry Jones, he got a lot. He got a child out there that he don't even claim, but he paying her off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then Kroenke, he moved that pole team in St. Louis down to LA, and look at what's going on now.
Yeah.
So if they move to Washington State, I'm done with this franchise.
Yeah.
So I would be completely done. If that happened, I would be heartbroken to a point where that would piss me. That would piss me off. I think if Jeff Bezos was to get ownership of the Washington Commanders, I think he will find a way to put it back in RFK Stadium. Rebuild. I think he would. I think he would do that. I think the team will be. I think the team will rebrand back to the name a little bit, some form of the name a little bit. I think it will rebrand back. That's my take on that situation. But yeah, David, you absolutely right. Doing the first two is the most powerful owners that I know, and that's why Daniel Snyder ain't going nowhere. But even though Jerry Jones and the Patriots got their team competitive, so why we can't be competitive? Even though they are flamboyant owners, Daniel Snyder, if you're gonna be hanging around people like that, make your team competitive. At least something. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
He can't get in his own way. He can't even get out his own way.
No, he can't.
Like he can't walk and chew bubblegum.
No, he's like to them he's like Mr. Magoo. They like the Three Stooges, but he's more like Curly. Just stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, but unless that, man, this is my Watch the Commanders episode 2 of the Aftermath. Great dialect. I'm glad Coach you was able to jump on here with me.
Sure.
You welcome anytime, man. Anytime, and you definitely every Monday I do this. So you welcome anytime. Like I said, the Aftermath will be transitioning over to Sports Empire Network the next Monday. So therefore, we bring more followers in, but it still will be connected to my brand as well. So that's going to be a great experience because I will be doing 3 shows under the Sports Empire Network. I will be doing my Washington Commanders, my Miami Hurricanes on Tuesday. And then when the basketball season starts, either Thursday or Friday, I will be doing my Chicago Bulls Red Alert segment. So yeah, so it's gonna be a lot of work this season. So, but unless that, man, I appreciate it. One love. Keep doing what you're doing. I'll definitely check out your show also.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So, I do have that round table. Sports Fidelity already texted me talking about she only got 45 minutes on Wednesday. I told her that's all I need, 45 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So, but like I said, if you see me pop up, man, hey, you're welcome to come in and we get it popping on that one too. So, but anyway, guys, thank y'all for tuning in. If y'all missed the show, you can always catch it on the replay. Until then, we out.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? LiveWire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is LiveWire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.